Alright guys, here is the last little bit. In this part we are going to solve equations. Alright, so let's not waste any more time. Here we go. Here's our first example. How about the cosine of theta is equal to negative 0.82, and we want our theta to be in between 180 degrees and 270 degrees, okay? So before we get started, okay, let's just talk about what we just went over, okay? Or let's just go over what we just talked about, however you want to say it. We're going to take the cosine of an angle, okay, and look at the ratio. The ratio is negative, okay? So what quadrant should I be in? If we're talking about the cosine and the ratio is negative, well, let's see. Here's the cosine. The ratio is negative. It says that our angle should be in between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. Okay? But look at this. This says we want our angle to be in between 180 degrees and 270 degrees. Okay? So this is kind of a two-step problem, okay? So if I take the inverse cosine of negative 0.82, it's going to give me an angle that is in this section between 90 and 180, okay? And then what we're going to have to do is use a reference angle to get us into this next quadrant, okay? Because we want the angle to be between 180 and 270. I think that's what it said. Yeah, 180 and 270, okay? All right, so first things first, let's write this down correctly. This is going to be the inverse cosine of negative 0.82, okay? All right, and that's going to equal theta, okay? So theta, all right, so let's do that first, okay? So on, clear it. So the inverse cosine of negative 0.82, that gives me 145 degrees, just as predicted. That's in between 90 and 180. So 145.08479, whatever. So theta equals 145.08. We'll just leave it at that, okay? But here's the problem, okay? That is in the second quadrant as predicted, okay? So you can just draw a picture like this if you want, and you can say, well, here's 145.08, okay? That's this angle right here, okay? We just need to know what's this angle, okay? All right, well, remember, it's the distance from this terminal side to the x-axis, right? And at the x-axis, we're at 180 degrees. So you can just take 145.08, so you can subtract that from 180, right? So 180, take away 145.0847938, okay? And you get, what just happened? Oh, I put divided by. Let me try that again. 180, subtract, there we go, 145.0847938. Okay, here we go. And we get 34.915. So this angle right here is 34.915. Okay? All right, well, we don't want an angle in this quadrant. It says we want our angle to be in between 180 and 270. That's here. All right, that's somewhere in this quadrant right there. So all I have to do is take this reference angle, 34.915, add it to 180, okay, and then I'll get my angle that's in this quadrant. It's going to be right there, okay, and watch this. I'll just add that 34.915 blah, blah, blah to 180, so plus 180. Here we go, and I get 214.9. So 214.9 degrees. So that's what theta equals. Theta equals 214.9. Okay? Kind of wonky. Okay? But watch. Let's just see what happens. Ready? All right. So supposedly, what should I get if I take the cosine of 214.9? What should I get? Well, I should get negative 0.82 or close to it. Watch. Okay, let's just take the cosine of 214.9. Okay, let's try 915. I think 0.915. Let's try it. Yeah, 0.9 152062. I'm going to try to get to it as close as possible, and here we go. Negative 0.82, just like we said, negative 0.82. Okay, so, but here's the deal. If I was to take the inverse cosine of negative 0.82, it didn't give me 214, remember? Because it's going to give me an angle that's here in this quadrant, okay? So remember, there's all kinds of angles that will give us a ratio of negative 0.82. But for your calculator, it's going to narrow it down to just one quadrant, okay? That quadrant right there. So if we want other angles, like in this case, we wanted it between 180 and 270, you have to add the reference angle and you'll get it, all right? Hopefully you're not too confused. Let's do one more, okay? How about the tangent of theta? The tangent of theta equals negative 5.3, okay? And just so we know, if I was to find the angle using my calculator, what quadrant would it put me in? Okay, well my ratio is negative. So for the tangent, if my ratio is negative, it's going to give me an angle somewhere between 0 and negative 90. Okay, we'll use our calculator to do that, okay? So keep that in mind. It's going to give me an angle that's between 0 and 90 degrees. So here, I'm just going to rewrite this the right way. Oh, and before I go on, I want my theta, okay, to be in between 90 and 180. Okay, that's where I want my angle, okay? I know my angle is going to be between 0 and negative 90. I want my angle to be between 90 and 180, okay? So we'll get there. All right, so first off, let's just go ahead and say that we want the inverse tangent, okay, of that ratio, negative 5.3, okay, and that's going to equal theta, okay? So let's see. And remember, we said it's going to be between 0 and negative 90, okay? So watch this. Let me clear all that. So inverse tangent of negative 5.3, okay? And there it is, negative 79. So theta equals negative 79.315. Okay, negative 79.315, just as predicted, okay? But we want our theta to be in between 90 and 180, okay? So here, I just draw a little picture so you can see it, okay? I know that my theta right here is negative 79, that's right about there, negative 79.315, okay? But we want my angle between 90 and 180, so we want it up in this section, don't we? We want it up in that section. Okay, so it's gonna look it's gonna be like basically right there, okay? Okay, so watch. What's my reference angle? What is that guy right there? Well, how far did you go? It's not a trick question, it's really that easy. It's 79.315, okay? So, if I want my angle in this section, I have to subtract off 79.315. So I'm going to subtract off minus 79.315 from 180, and it's going to give me my angle. All right, so I already have negative 79.315, so I'm just going to say plus 180, okay, just because it's a shortcut. So I get 100.685. So my angle is 100.685. Okay, and again, all I'm doing is just scratch work to kind of keep things straight in my head. Okay, so my angle theta is 100.685. Okay, now if you don't believe me, remember if I go backwards now, if I take the tangent, right, of 100.68, let's see if I'm going to actually use this, 6849.124. Okay, I'll take the tangent. All right, shouldn't I get negative 5.3? Let's see. Negative 5.3, just as predicted, okay? But going backwards, remember, if I take the inverse tangent of negative 5.3, it will only give me negative 79 degrees, okay? That doesn't mean that negative 79 degrees is the only angle that will give you that ratio. 100.68. That'll give you that ratio if you take the tangent of it, okay? All right, so that's just some insight into how your calculator works. Hopefully that's helpful, and if you need more help, you know where I am. Just come and find me in my office hours, and I'll be more than happy to help you. All right, peace.